Welcome back to another episode of the Draw Control podcast. On today's episode, I'm joined by Bella and Gigi Gaspar, who play on the Arizona State women's lacrosse team. Last season, Bella led the team in caused turnovers with 15 and was listed on the 2023 Pac-12 Academic Honor Roll and IWLCA Academic Honor Roll as well. Gigi last season had 26 ground balls, which was second on the team, and was named to the 2023 Pac-12 All-Tournament Team as well. Both Gigi and Bella last month were named to their first national team roster for Canada, and you can follow both Gigi and Bella on their YouTube channel, the Gaspar Twins. It has over 3,000 subscribers on that channel as well. So I'm very happy and honored to talk to both of you guys today. So thank you, Bella and Gigi, for coming on. And how's everything going?
Yeah, good. Thanks so much for having us. We're super stoked.
Yeah, going good. We just came back from practice. So yeah, thanks for having us on.
Well, how was both of your summers this past year? And did you guys do anything interesting, whether it was lacrosse related or not?
Yeah, summer was super great. It's always nice to go back home to Canada for the summer. We get a pretty good break, obviously being a spring sport. So for all the summer, we were basically playing box lacrosse, which is how we started playing lacrosse. So it's so much fun to play, just like a faster paced game, full contact. It's really nice to go back with the girls up there, and we played for a couple different teams while we were up there. So it was really fun.
Yeah, and then just hanging out with family and friends is always super nice, super relaxing. We did a couple small trips, but stayed pretty close to home for the most part. The weather was great. So it was just fun playing lacrosse and getting to hang out with everyone.
Yeah, the thing I love about box lacrosse is you can like lay people out. It's like much more physical, and I feel like they got to add that to the women's game on field at some point.
Yeah, it definitely it's super fun. It's hard to it's a little buffer period transitioning from box to field in between, but it's fun. It's nice.
Yeah, the full contact is awesome.
What's like the biggest check that you guys have delivered in your box lacrosse career when you look back on it now?
Biggest check. I've got ejected from a couple of games probably, but cleanly, probably just laying someone out like on the boards is always satisfying.
Yeah, I think I boarded someone pretty bad one time, but I got ejected. But I think that the worst, like I injured someone pretty badly one time, but I mean, it just like I think their ankle, something bad happened to their ankle, which was tough. But stuff like that, biggest layout hit, yeah, definitely just straight on because we have a stop sign on the back of our jerseys, so you're not supposed to like back check, but inevitably it happens, and that into the boards, I did laid someone out pretty bad over top of the boards. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's so it's always tough getting ejected from a game because I played hockey and I never got ejected, but like when someone did, it was always like the walk of shame is never
Yeah.
fun. And then you got to talk to the
Not good.
coach after. So
Yeah, not fun.
So I was like, sorry, like just like an awkward like conversation.
Yeah.
well, obviously you guys were doing that this summer. So what did you guys want to work on the most, I guess, in to get ready for the upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for this season. I think we have a lot of returners coming back this year, a lot more of a foundation coming in. So I'm really excited just to see people step into new roles, and then also hopefully obviously get some wins on the field. And the goal is always to kind of win that Pac-12 championship. It's kind of the last year of the conference too. So hopefully just being successful as a team and just still having fun with it on and off the field.
Yeah, I feel like individually, like skill wise, we're always like kind of trying to get improve. I think specifically like footwork and stick skills is kind of what we've been focusing a lot this like preseason. So just kind of getting dialed in all aspects because improving every aspect of the game, our game that we can. But yeah.
It's pretty hard. It's pretty crazy to believe that you guys are seniors this year. It feels like the time has flown by. So what type of leadership do you want to bring to the team? I'm curious if you guys have thought about that. And would you guys consider yourself more vocal leaders or lead by example type of players?
Yeah, like you said, the time just flies. I feel like I was a freshman yesterday. I wish I could get some more time to play, but I think just on the field, obviously, between me and Bella, our goalie, Katie Valley, and a couple of returners, we have a pretty good foundation defensively. And I would definitely say that I'm definitely a vocal leader. I feel like I like to use my voice on the field, but I think also having the ability to lead by example is what I try to do on the field. And it's super easy when I have like Bell supporting me. We've got a couple upperclassmen that do a good job of that in our attack with like Mina Scott, and on the draw with Zoe. And then Valley in the cage is always secure back there. So that's always nice to have, makes it easier.
Yeah, I feel like coming off of last year, we were so young last year, and we had graduated a lot of the leaders that we all looked up to when we were underclassmen. So it's really cool this year coming into more of a leadership role, both like the two of us and then also the rest of our class and the graduate students as well. It's really nice that we have a strong strong leaders that are all older than us now, and we're obviously older now as well. So I think just leading by example on the field is something that we've always kind of done, and vocally on defense, I feel like I'm never not talking. So I feel like, yeah, we definitely are kind of both in a sense. But yeah, it's nice to have us being able to step into those roles, and then also a great supporting cast as well, and we're all kind of have the same goal in mind, which is awesome.
And when do you guys like officially like start practicing as a team, if that's already happened? And what do you guys sort of work on in the fall to get ready for the spring season?
Yeah, so we started school August 17th, so we're a bit earlier here at ASU, and then we started practicing basically a week out from that. So we've been going since the end of August. So we just started 20-hour weeks in our fall ball schedule. We head to San Diego State at the end of the month, so kind of ramping up, preparing for that. And we've done like a lot of, I mean, I would say conditioning's definitely been at the forefront, especially when we were back in 8-hour weeks, just making sure everyone's up to par. Obviously, it's really hot here, so climatizing to that as well. And then as a whole, like I kind of said, we have a lot of people coming back now, and we know what we need to work on from last year. Whereas obviously last year we were building a lot with new players in different roles and coaches in different roles. Now I feel like we're starting at a great position, and just continuing to grow each day, always putting 100% to try to keep getting that 1% better is kind of what our team's mentality right now is.
Yeah, same thing as her pretty much. Like I feel like our team's really the morale of our team is really, really up right now. Like we're really just working hard every day, doing whatever we can. And yeah, it's nice. We're fortunate that we get to come here so early, because I know some schools start later. So we're lucky that we start as early as we do, so that we can kind of hit the ground running right away.
How have the freshmen been doing so far?
Good. I love the freshmen.
Yeah, they've been awesome.
They've been really kind of like sponges, like I feel. So they've been very responsive to anything that the upperclassmen have been saying, anything the coaches have been saying. So they've adapted to our team really well on and off the field. So I'm looking forward to seeing how some of them step up. And it's always cool to see the new class, because you never really know who's gonna shine, and it's always a cool opportunity.
Yeah, and they definitely all have their own styles and stuff. So it's cool to kind of have their individuality come in with just excitement. You, like Bella said, they're super willing to learn, willing to try different things, and you can't really ask much more of a freshman class when they are able to just put any preconceived notions like out of the way and be able to just learn and grow every day. It's been really awesome to see their growth even just in these past couple weeks.
Now, what are your team's goals and expectations for next season?
Yeah. I mean, I think just obviously we want to win games, but I think with our conference being so strong, we've made it as far as the Pac-12 final in recent years. So always making it to the finals, a goal of ours. Competing with all the Pac-12 teams. The Pac-12 is always super strong, so we're lucky to always have some strong competition, even no matter the game. And then hopefully with some of our out of conference competition, we haven't really gotten our full schedule released yet, but just when we're traveling abroad, not abroad, but across the country and stuff, being able, when we see these other teams, just being able to put up a good fight. And that's always a good challenge for us being on the West Coast, when we get to see these East Coast teams, just to play it out, and hopefully just win a lot of games. I mean, obviously Pac-12 championship would be the goal, and hopefully making our first NCAA tournament would be incredible, especially as our senior year, to just end on a high that way.
Yeah, I feel like the just last one, best one kind of mentality. I feel like the goal is obviously always Pac-12 championship. I feel like that's why we play it, to like win those big games. But just enjoying out the last year, and kind of everything that comes with it. Obviously there's in like positives and highs and lows. But I feel like being as successful on the field as we can, and taking it day by day, not getting, although like Pac-12 championship would be our goal, making it to NCAA tournament is our goal. I feel like not losing sight of that, like just being too focused on that and enjoying the process is kind of the good goal to have as well. But
Now, I want to transition now and talk about the beginning of your guys' lacrosse career and sort of work all the way up to where you are today with ASU. So, from the research I did on both of you, your guys are from Burnaby, British Columbia, in Canada. So, talk about growing up there and how did you both start playing lacrosse?
Yeah, for sure. You want to start?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, obviously we're from Canada. It's the city right next to Vancouver is Burnaby. So growing up we played a lot of sports. We played, I think, something like 13 or so organized sports. So we've always kind of been really into sports. And yeah, growing up to getting into lacrosse, we didn't pick up, so we played hockey, soccer, like a lot of sports before we started lacrosse. And actually our hockey coach was the one who got us first involved because it's really common to play hockey in the winter and then lacrosse in the spring at home. But we started off playing hockey for a couple years, and then our coach was coaching lacrosse, and he said, "I think you guys should try lacrosse. I think you'll like it." But box lacrosse, we didn't really get into field lacrosse till much later. So he's like, "I think you guys would really like box lacrosse." So I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'm gonna try this out." But we also had a lot of guy friends who played box lacrosse, and they would come to school with like concussions and all these injuries. And so Gigi was kind of like, I don't want to try this yet, but Bella can try this out. If she likes it and doesn't get hurt, then I'll play the next year. So I actually started the first year of lacrosse without Gigi. That's the first time pretty much we've ever played with, aside from like one other team, the first time we not played a sport together. So I played lacrosse, loved it, picked it up really fast, and it was just a really good time. So then the next, like halfway through the season, Gigi was like, I want to play. So the next season she was playing. So we played box lacrosse. That was kind of our main version of lacrosse. And then we only got into field lacrosse in grade 7.
Yeah. And that was only to improve our box lacrosse.
Yeah. So we had no intention really of playing field lacrosse, but we wanted to get better at box lacrosse. And obviously, since it's a lot more of a finesse game, the field game. So we played that, and then we got a lot better at box lacrosse. But then as we got a couple years older, we realized that there's quite an opportunity to come play in the States with field lacrosse. So we started putting more time into that once we made the provincial team. Once we made Team BC in grade 10, that's kind of when we really started taking field lacrosse quite seriously, because obviously the goal then was to come to the States and play. But yeah, growing up, we played a lot of sports. Like we were also really into basketball. So I don't know if you want to.
Oh yeah. So like in high school, we played 5 varsity sports. So it was between basketball, volleyball, soccer, track, and we played on the men's lacrosse team because we didn't have a women's field lacrosse team at our high school. But it was kind of, we were super late commits to ASU. So like all of grade 11, we kind of went just talking to a couple schools, but nothing really super serious. And then our senior year came around and we still didn't really have any offers. So we were kind of on the fence between if we were going to play basketball in Canada and university or try to go to the States still to play field lacrosse, obviously. But yeah, so then we kind of just fell in love with it after Team BC, and our coaches, they were so awesome. We had Ashley Bull, who's played on the Canadian national team, and Jason Carr. They were both with us for the whole Team BC program. So they kind of took a risk on us in like grade 10, taking us in because we were athletic, but we weren't necessarily like the best field lacrosse players. So and then they were able to just kind of create us, teach us how to play field lacrosse at the highest level, and eventually give us the opportunity to obviously get on American schools' radars.
Yeah. When did Arizona State notice both of you?
So it was kind of the stars aligning with ASU because obviously, like I said, until our senior year, we were still uncommitted, and obviously for most Division I programs, their rosters fill up. But there was a coaching change at ASU when Tim McCormick got hired. So with that new hiring, a couple of the verbal commits decommitted, so they had a couple spots open up in their 2020 class. And our Team BC coordinator, Dan Stroop, he was daughters both played at Northwestern where Tim had previously come from. So he had that connection. And I was basically like, do you think there's a shot here? He's like, shoot him an email, shoot him a text, like try to figure it out. He was super instrumental in that for us. And so shout out to Dan for helping us out there. And he got us in contact with Tim, who was obviously the coach at the time. And we got on the call. He basically invited us down to the camp. And this was October of our senior year. So like signing day is in like 2-3 weeks by the time we're just going down to a camp trying to get anything going really. And we were super came down for the camp. It was a 1-day camp. Played, obviously just left it all on the field because this was kind of like our last. We had a couple division two schools that we were looking at to go if this didn't work out, but luckily for us, week later Tim called us and made us the offer, and then we committed, and then it was like we verbally committed, and then pretty much 2 weeks later we signed our NLI, and that was basically it. But it did all kind of come together really fast, and obviously we're super blessed for it all to work out because everyone's recruiting process is kind of different, but I feel like at that point as a senior, you kind of start to lose a little bit of hope of going to like ASU is like such a dream school for us. And even every day still, it's such a dream to be here. So that all kind of came together super quickly, but we're super fortunate with the way that it did turn out for us.
Yeah, it was all really fast. It happened and it was awesome. But sorry. Yeah, I feel like it really was like God's plan too. Cause like we were talking to, it's kind of a funny story. So there was one other Division I school we were talking to Delaware State, and the week prior to us getting in contact with ASU, we were actually supposed to go on an official visit over there, but the coach actually spelled our name wrong on the airplane ticket, so we had to like postpone it a couple weeks, and then we had committed to ASU. So it was like if that had worked out, I don't know where we would have been. So it's definitely like our whole process was kind of fast and it worked out perfectly. Like I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. So yeah.
And like both of you mentioned, you played for different teams, before college. So I just want to ask you, because I think the most notable team you played for was Club Team BC, where you both had a lot of success in several national tournaments. So what would you say is like the best memory you have from your college lacrosse days when you look back on it now?
Yeah, I mean, TBC was such a blast. I mean, always President's Cup was a huge super fun for us. Our team, we were super lucky too with Team BC when we came in grade 10. Our team pretty much, with the exception of a couple girls, stayed the same all throughout grade 11, 10, 11, 12. So we ended up by our senior year being super close. I think what sticks out for me probably would be those 2019 nationals in Peterborough. And we also had the World Championship tournament that was kind of at the same time as the U19 nationals at the time. We were playing in the world tournament for the younger girls because we were obviously not that old at that time. And I think that was just super funny. It just sticks out to me just because it was such a whirlwind. Our team was super close. It was a smaller team. And we played, I think, I don't even know. It was like 15 games in 5 days or something ridiculous, like super fun. But like looking back, it was just so fun. The weather was crazy. Some of the days it started downpouring, but just spending so much time with the team was so much fun. I think that one sticks out for me.
Yeah, that definitely was probably the one that sticks out the most. Also, Sandstorm was always a fun tournament we went to with our team. We won it our grade 11 year, so that was pretty fun. But yeah, honestly, our whole time with Team BC was really awesome. We're so like blessed to have had the opportunity to play for them, and like obviously our coaches taking us in there, they really set us up. So our whole time with them, even to the day, like they're still great memories. Like even though it was a long time ago, like it's great to like look back, and we still are connected with so many of the girls that we played on the teams with and the coaches. So it's kind of nice to be able to still keep in touch with them as well.
So as freshmen in college, what was like sort of the biggest adjustment you both had to make to college lacrosse, especially being in the States really for the first time?
Yeah. I mean, our freshman year, looking back, it's just so different now for the freshmen, just because we came in kind of that immediate post-COVID era. 2020 was our first fall here. So there was a lot of repercussions from COVID, still a lot of restrictions, mostly online classes and stuff. So it was crazy moving to a completely different country. Our parents weren't allowed to cross the border at the time because there was like a 2-week quarantine, only essential travel. There's a ton of different rules. It seems like a fever dream, honestly, looking back now. But I would say the biggest adjustment was because we got recruited to play midfield here. That was kind of the position that we got recruited. And then within like the first couple of weeks of playing, Tim Grosendor were like, you guys are probably going to play defense for at least a little bit. And we're like, for sure, no problem. Like obviously as freshmen, you just want to play and make your coaches happy. So we played defense, ended up obviously loving it. But that was probably the biggest adjustment, just because I feel like everyone coming to college, you get recruited for a certain position, you think you're going to play it, but I mean, it worked out for us, but that would probably be the biggest adjustment, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say probably the position switch, but even like at the time, I feel like looking back, that probably was, but when you're in it, it just kind of felt like the right thing to do. So it didn't even feel like too hard of an adjustment. I'd say, honestly, the lacrosse, I feel like we adjusted to very well. And it was obviously modified at the beginning with fall ball. We were only able to practice in like specific groups for like a certain amount of time because it was all COVID restrictions. But I would say definitely the quarantining and not being able to see like our family really for it was 4.5 months because every time since we were international, every time we crossed the border, we had to quarantine for 2 weeks. So pretty much any travel was, and that's if you could get across the border because flights and everything were a bit of a mess as well. But yeah, I would say definitely the COVID restrictions was the biggest adjustment. And then yeah, the position, I mean, yeah, it was definitely learning a new skill set, but I think we adapted decently. So
Yeah, hopefully we never have to deal with that again because that was a
I
really
hope
bad
not.
year for sure. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
now you guys play in the Pac-12, so what's that conference like? And talk about just the competition you guys face each game and sort of what's it like being a part of that conference?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Pac-12 is a very strong conference. All the teams we play, it's honestly so fun being in the Pac-12 because every team is so even and so competitive that you never really have an easy game, which is nice. So, I feel like the competition is super strong. We obviously get into, well, this year it'll be a little different because we have San Diego State and UC Davis joining, but like previous 3 years, we got to see every team twice guaranteed, and then we had the Pac-12 tournament. So it was kind of cool to like if you lost the first game, you get another shot at them. If you win the first game, there's always kind of like a good competition level. And every team is really competitive. So
Yeah, and then I think obviously only having, is it six of us in the
mhm.
only six in the conference, all of us being able to go to the conference tournament just kind of heightens the stakes as well. Because once you get into tournament play, obviously in any conference, it's just more at stake. So just always having that competition, even if you however the games go in the regular season, just always knowing that there's going to be that conference championship where you do have a shot, and it obviously I think that makes it a lot more fun, a lot more competitive. And I think the teams are all, every battle is different and every game's different, but it's definitely super cool. I mean, I feel like it's such a cool conference to be a part of for sure.
Now, obviously, there's been a lot of realignment in the conference, especially in collegiate athletics, and obviously, ASU has made the decision to move to the Big 12. So, how does that sort of affect women's lacrosse? I know you guys probably won't be on the team when like it starts, but like, what's your sort of thoughts on that, and how does it sort of affect your team?
Yeah, I mean, the conference realignment, I feel like for any sport that isn't football or basketball is definitely going to be a large adjustment, and it's a little hard right now just because there's a lot of uncertainty. It seemed to all kind of happen very quickly. Um, Moving to the Big 12 with Colorado and us, and then there's only Cincinnati in the Big 12 that have lacrosse is going to be definitely interesting, especially for these first couple years when it's definitely uncertain, which I think makes it difficult, but we're super blessed here with our coaching staff, the administration. We've been able to sit in on a couple of the athletic board meetings and stuff, just hearing from Ray Anderson, our athletic head, and they are very determined to make sure that it's still an incredible experience for the student athletes and they're not compromising anyone's career here, because obviously juniors, sophomores, and freshmen and everyone coming in, it's gonna affect. But I think they're putting their best foot forward and gonna make whatever the situation is the best for the athletes. And I do really fully trust that they will make it the best for the girls. And obviously my heart goes out to everyone that's gonna have to play in that. We kind of are lucky that we get to skip out on it, but I do have faith in the administration that they're gonna do what's best for the team.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like G pretty much summed it all up. I think it is unfortunate because the Pac-12, it's such an awesome conference. Like we were saying before, it's great how competitive it is, and it's also nice how close everything is. Like I think traveling the far distances will be tough to manage for sure with school. But yeah, like Gigi said, our administration here definitely always has our best interest in mind, and our coaches are also great leaders. So it shouldn't be I'm not like worried about our team, but it is unfortunate just because we are so used to having this great conference and we aren't sure who we're going to play next year, obviously, because the Big 12, it doesn't sponsor lacrosse at the moment. So it is unfortunate, but I do think that everything will work out. And yeah, there'll be some growing pains, but I think it'll all probably work out for the best. So
Yeah, some of those travel schedules are going to be brutal. Stanford going to all those ACC schools. I
That's
don't know.
crazy.
I don't
Yeah.
know how that's going to work. I know they'll figure
That
out a
one's
way,
the
but
craziest, I think. The Atlantic Coast Conference and the
Yeah.
West Coast is just crazy, but
I think they
yeah,
would have to play like half the season on the road and then half the season at home just to
yeah,
make it easier for like class schedule. But I don't know how they're going to make that work. So that'll be interesting to see for sure.
yeah, for sure. We'll see. It'll be interesting for sure.
Now let's talk about your careers for a little bit at ASU. Obviously, during your time with the Sun Devils, you both have gotten better and have kept improving from your freshman year to now being senior. So, what would you say is the biggest improvement you've made to your game throughout your time with ASU?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously I feel like my IQ has improved just being able to play in so many college games. We've been super fortunate to see a lot of playing time and seeing such high level competition throughout the years. We've seen a lot of really good ranked opponents. But I would say individually, probably my 1v1 defense. I've been really lucky to work with Caroline, our defensive coach, especially throughout the course of last year. I feel like my 1v1 defense has gotten a lot better, and that's obviously all props to her putting time into me and giving me different skills because she's obviously so knowledgeable and so successful as a defender. So just being able to have her to guide me and learn different skills has been super, super awesome for me at least.
yeah, I think definitely like with game experience, the IQ piece, yeah, has improved so much for us. I also think my individually, like there were things that I hadn't really touched on, like coming from being like a high school athlete and not really putting like obviously we had lacrosse practice, but it's so much different coming to the Division 1 level. So Carol's been awesome, and but all of our coaches are really great about giving us the opportunity to meet with them individually outside of practice to work on individual skill sets that you can't necessarily touch on every day in practice. So yeah, things like 1v1 defending, even just like outlet passing, kind of looking, making sure we're game aware, what that's going through film or touching on things outside of practice. I feel like since freshman year to now, I definitely think my biggest improvement has been also in my 1v1 defending. And yeah, kind of just with having the experience again, like I feel like times where I would maybe get like more stressed out as a freshman in games, I'm a lot more composed now, and I have kind of that experience to go off of to boost my confidence as well. So yeah.
Now, how do you both work on your defensive part of your game? Because I would say that's probably the biggest strength I think that both of you guys have. Like, I know, Bella's really good at cost turnovers and, Gigi's really good at ground balls. And it just seems like you guys are both really good defensively, but there's like one area that you thrive on very much, and the other one does the same thing. So I'm just curious, how do you sort of work on that part of your game?
Yeah, I think me and Bella, growing up in all of our sports have kind of been fortunate to have each other, and we're both super, super competitive. So having each other both playing together on the same team has been super beneficial. So when say like if we miss a rep at practice, or like not miss a rep but don't feel great about a rep, like we can stay after and work on it basically until it's perfect. I feel like is kind of what I would say. So just being able to do, whether that's getting an extra 1v1 rep, working on the ladders before practice, just stick checking, whatever it is that we feel like we need to work on. And depending the day, we'll have different needs from each other. But I think we're always able to help each other out in that aspect. And I think that's really helped with our success is just always pushing each other and having that person to be in your court all the time.
Yeah, I feel like we definitely, like me and Gigi both, since we are so competitive, like we'll get to practice and we'll just like chuck balls as hard as we can at each other, try picking them up. Like I feel like things like that. So then when we get into games, picking up a ground ball seems like so easy and slow compared to what we do. And we just like make up games with each other, which I feel like is why we've gotten to the point we are now, because we keep it fun, but also we're always pushing each other to get better in different aspects of our game. So I feel like that's kind of what's led us to get to where we are today.
Now, this past season, you guys lost to USC in the Pac-12 semifinals. Even though you lost that game, what did you take away from your team's performance this past season?
Yeah, I mean, losing obviously always sucks. USC was super strong this past season, obviously went on to win the championship. So we knew it was going to be a dogfight going in. I think it was a good fight for our team. I mean, I feel like just as a whole last year, we were just working through so much offensively, defensively, just kind of figuring out what roles because we did lose a lot of our senior class. So there was a lot of different roles to fill in. And I think we had great people step in, like Tegan Ing from obviously also from Canada. She stepped in, got freshman of the year. Having some of these freshmen and underclassmen step in and perform was huge for us. And well, obviously you never want to lose and that's not the result you're striving for. We still made big strides. And I think just learning from that every game, whether it was a win or a loss, was a learning experience for us as a whole unit. And I think just carrying that into this year is going to be huge for us.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like obviously losing always sucks. It doesn't really get easier. It always stings. But I feel like things were starting to click near the end of last season. So that's why it was really awesome, the mentality coming into this year, kind of, because I feel like last year we didn't really get any of the results that we wanted. Quite frankly, we wanted to do a lot better than we did. So that was hard. And I feel like this year we know how it feels to be on the opposite side of that. We don't really want to do that again. So it's kind of nice coming into fall ball this year with kind of that underdog mentality. We kind of all are striving to be a lot better than we were last year, which is kind of cool to see.
Now, you both were named to the national team roster for Canada, so I do want to ask you, how did you guys find that out, and how excited are you guys to be representing your country in a few weeks?
Yeah, that was it's such an honor, obviously, at any point to represent your national team. It's been a goal of ours for so long. So when we got a call from actually Ashley Bull, who was our coach back in Team BC, she called us. She was named to the coaching staff for this Team Canada team, gave us a call and was like, we got roster spots for you guys, basically. And asked us if that was something we'd want to do. And obviously, of course, we're kind of shocked. I mean, obviously, it was such an incredible phone call to receive. And when we got invited to play, just I'm just so feeling so blessed, so excited. It's really hard to put into words like the opportunity. Some of the girls on the team are super strong. I mean, Dana Dobie's on the team. Obviously, she's a lacrosse legend. There's players like Meg Kinna, Erica Evans. Like, there's just great talent on the team. So just to be even in the same conversation as them is just like such an honor for us, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very surreal phone call. Like, we both got super emotional like after the call. Like, it was just such an honor, and obviously we've worked so hard since being at ASU and leading up to ASU as well. So to kind of get the honor to have Canada across our chest is definitely something that we're super blessed to experience. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy feeling, and we're just super excited, looking forward to performing there and seeing how it goes. So we're just kind of amping up for that. Yeah, it's just a massive honor. You can't really that's kind of what you're always striving for. It's kind of like the peak of playing, because obviously there's pro lacrosse, but like there's also national team is such a different level. So we're very honored to have that opportunity.
Now, what have you guys taken away from your ASU lacrosse experience so far?
Yeah, I mean, just so much. I just, like I kind of said earlier, the time's just flown by, and if I could do it all over, I'd do it again in a heartbeat, just to relive everything, not to change anything. And it's just been so fun. So just being able to, all the girls on our team have been fantastic. We've been lucky. Our class itself has stayed the same 9 of us our whole time since we've committed. So just so we've got such a good tight knit group, and I feel like that's pretty rare. At least in our playing. I've never been on a team this big, because we have 41 or so girls, where there's no problems with our team. Like, we all get along. You could go hang out with any individual on the team and it wouldn't be awkward. Just the camaraderie between the girls on our team is just so awesome. And I just feel so blessed to be a part of something as special as Sun Devil Lacrosse, because it really is just going to practice really is the funnest part of the day. And it's been such an incredible experience.
Yeah, no, I mean, Sun Devil Lacrosse has such an important part in our heart, and all the people at ASU have we wouldn't be close to the players we are today without all the support we've gotten from our coaches, trainers, academic staff, team. Everybody here is just so awesome and really wants you to succeed. Our team is awesome. We're so close with everyone on the team, so that's great. And yeah, honestly, our coaches are great. ASU as a whole, just the facilities that we have to work in every day are pretty, high end. We're very lucky to be at such a big school. So yeah, we owe a lot to ASU for where we are today.
So we're now in a segment I like to call 6 questions that have nothing to do with lacrosse. And the goal of this segment is to hopefully get to know you guys a little bit more off the field. So my first question is, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself?
Oh,
Um,
like an actor. It doesn't have to be like based on personality, right? Or just
No,
like
it could be whoever you want.
I want to say Jennifer Aniston. I feel like she's so cool.
Jennifer.
I think her movies are always so funny. And she's super pretty.
Yeah. Maybe like Mila Kunis. She's super pretty. She doesn't look anything like me, but I think she's so cool and really
Yeah, she
pretty.
is
So
cool and funny.
yeah.
That's awesome. I'd probably go with Ryan Reynolds. I know he doesn't look anything
yeah.
like me, but I just think it'll be cool to brag to my friends that he played me in a
Thank you.
movie.
Thank you,
So
Rick. Yeah.
That's
now,
good.
now, obviously, you guys are famous YouTubers, so I have to ask, who are your favorite YouTubers, and how'd you guys get started on your channel?
Famous is a stretch. But
I think you guys are famous, I should say.
yeah, honestly, it's funny, I don't watch a ton of YouTube. I watch probably more TikTok than I watch YouTube, but I really like Mr. Beast. I think that his videos are always super entertaining. And then anyone who does kind of like a day in the life for like lacrosse, like this, I know there's been a couple people on both men's, the women's side. I love watching those. I think that they're super entertaining to see what other schools are kind of like.
Yeah, I mean, same thing, same as Gigi. Honestly, the same answers as her. I honestly don't watch YouTube that much. We just kind of, I've always really liked video editing. Like I've never taken any classes on it or done any professional work or anything like that, but it's just something that I've always kind of had an interest in. So I've done a bit in the past, but this year I'm just like, you know what? Last year I just kind of want to do more videos like that. So I don't know, we just kind of do it for fun, but that's kind of there's not really a reason we got into it per se. It honestly started, we just wanted to vlog our trips with our team, and now we've got into a few like other kind of
Yeah.
videos, but yeah.
Are you guys surprised of like how popular it's sort of become?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny because it's funny. Well, we make TikToks more, and that started as a complete joke because we posted one thing and that TikTok's weird that way, where like you just post something and something randomly goes viral. It's not like we've ever been like, oh yeah, we want to be media influencers or anything like that. It's just kind of if the algorithm takes you or not, I feel like. So the randomest stuff will go viral, and you can post the exact same thing the day later and it will completely flop. So we don't put a ton of like our heart into it, I feel like, but it's just like a goofy thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's just fun for
It's
us.
fun to like look back on, I feel.
Yeah.
So it's more just for like memories, and they're like fun to make with our friends. So
Yeah.
Well, I know you guys have done like different challenges videos with other athletes at ASU, and the only suggestion I want to make is I want to see it with the hockey team. I feel like that'll be a lot of fun. So is that
We
in
got
the
it in the
works?
works.
it's in the works.
All right, good.
I put
'cause-
something on my story. We had a couple of the hockey guys be like, when are we doing the hockey one? So that's definitely, it'll be hopefully by the end of the semester we'll get one of those out.
That's good.
It's harder with the like ice rink, kind of figuring that out. But
Well, you guys played hockey, so I feel like you have to do
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. I feel like Canadian hockey, it's kind of has to.
for sure, good collab.
I'd say my favorite YouTuber is probably Dude Perfect. I don't know if they still make videos, but I just like I thought they were super cool back when I was a kid, just seeing all those cool trick shots. So I'd probably say them.
They're so popular back in the day.
Now, what is the most underrated holiday and what's the most overrated holiday?
Okay, most overrated in my opinion, I would say Halloween. I like Halloween. I just feel like I'm not really into like scary movies and stuff, I guess. So that's probably why. Like I liked trick-or-treating, but it's not super appropriate for me to go trick-or-treating anymore. So that's probably underrated for me now. I just don't overrated. I mean, for me now, I don't really think twice about it. Some people love it, I know, but it's not really my thing. Underrated. I would probably say maybe St. Patrick's Day, I guess. I feel
Yeah.
like I love the green colors. I feel like everyone's always happy. And it's right around my birthday too. So, and it's my grandma's birthday that day. So I feel like St. Patrick's Day is kind of fun.
Good. I feel like for me, Halloween I think is a little overrated too. I feel like once we kind of tapped out of the trick-or-treating, it wasn't as fun of a
Well, that's
holiday.
the best part of the holiday.
Yeah,
Now you can't do it
Like
anymore.
ever since
So
those days, it's been, it's fun to dress up. But I don't know, it's not super my forte. And then underrated, I mean, I think Thanksgiving is a very like highly acclaimed like holiday, but I don't know, at home I feel like it's a little bit more of an underrated holiday. I think it's such an awesome time just eating food with family and friends.
yeah.
That can't get much better than that. So yeah, I
Well, you
would
guys
say
have it at like the worst time of the year. Like it should be in November, not in October.
yeah,
Like I don't know why you guys
Yeah.
have to be different than us with that.
The controversy.
The controversy,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, I
Americans
know.
love their day. I like it being in fall. I think November's a little too close to Christmas for me, but obviously to each their own.
Yeah, I would say Thanksgiving is probably the most underrated, just
Mhm.
because like it's family food and football, and there's really nothing that sort of beats that. I also like the time of year. It's sort of like you're closing in on the end of the year, and it's sort of a nice break from, finals as well, since it's around that
Yeah.
time as well.
Sure.
Underrated would also be for me is 4th of July. I don't know if Canada Day is sort of similar for that for you
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
that's always
I was
fun
gonna say
summer
that, yeah.
holiday.
Yeah.
And overrated for me is probably just New Year's Eve. Just you're
Oh,
just waiting
that's
for a
that's
clock
good one.
actually
to turn midnight, and that's it. It's kind of
Yeah.
lame in my opinion.
that's
Oh,
true. It's always
yeah.
so hyped
I
up,
should
and
have
it's
thought of
just
that.
like
That's so overrated. I agree.
I also agree it's overrated.
Awesome. Well, it's not often I have twins on the podcast, so I do have to ask, like, what did you guys fight about the most growing up?
It's kind of funny. Like I feel like me and Gigi, we really don't fight. We'll bicker. So we'll fight for like maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll get over it. Like, and we'll
Yeah.
be completely normal. But I guess mostly growing up, it would be like random things like setting the table or like going to grab like a jug of milk from downstairs. Like small things like that would be like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that is just basically our thing is that everything needs to be even all the time. So as soon as something's like not even, we would probably like bicker about it for a second. But like Bella said, like it'll be funny because we'll like if something happens, like something, it's always something dumb. Like if you heard what we were fighting about, you'd be like, "What is this about?" But and then like a teammate will walk in, they'll be like, "Oh my gosh!" Like people think it's really scary when we like bicker or something. I don't know, they just don't like seeing us bicker. And then 2 minutes later we'll be completely fine joking laughing with each other, so it's like it doesn't happen often, but when it does it's so minor and so little. But I guess it is kind of bound to happen as siblings, but it
Yeah.
doesn't happen a lot.
I feel like with twins, at least from my experience, I feel like they always fight about like when the oldest twin always uses that excuse. I don't know if you guys do that as well.
We probably would have had that problem, but it's actually funny. Our parents, shout out to them for saving us a lot of grief, but they didn't tell us who was older until we were 18.
Oh wow.
So when we
Who's
were
the
younger,
oldest?
like anyone, yeah, yeah. So we were just people would be like, "Who's older?" Or like, "I'm old." Like we didn't know. We were just like, "I don't
Oh.
know." They were like, "What?"
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good parenting move. So
That's
yeah,
smart. Who
yeah,
is the oldest? Can you say it now?
yeah.
Yeah. Bella's older. Only 10 minutes, but yeah, it was weird. It was weird finding that out because we went our whole life not knowing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've only for a short amount of time, really.
Were you surprised to find out that out? Like, did you guys sort of think like I'm probably the oldest or something like that? Because I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had my assumptions because people who meet us oftentimes think that I'm older
Mhm.
just because a couple differences in our personality. But so then I was like, since everyone thinks I'm older, she's probably older. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
like psychological thing, I
And it
guess.
was true. So
And it was true. So
Now, last non-lacrosse question is, what is the most interesting thing you've guys read or seen this week?
this week.
this week.
Oh, I feel like I did read see something interesting this week.
I can
Oh,
give you my answer if you guys want some
yeah,
time to
give
think
us your
about it.
answer.
I've just been, I know I know you guys aren't a different Pac-12 team, but I've just been obsessed with Deion Sanders and Colorado
my
football.
gosh.
So
Yeah.
cool.
And I just think he seems like such a cool guy. And I like how I like his sort of motivational stuff that he posts on Twitter. So I'd say I've been like sort of interested in what he's been up to. And one of the Colorado State coaches said something about him, and
Oh,
he's
really?
like, now it's personal. And,
Oh,
I
that's
just like
hilarious.
saying that now. And some of his sayings I keep repeating to myself, when I'm walking alone in the house. So it's definitely I've definitely been really like obsessed with sort of him and his team. I think that's been pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
he's been
cool.
so cool to follow. It's actually funny because we have a grad transfer, Katie Haley. She was at Colorado previously, so it's been nice because she wants to watch the games all the time. So we kind of keep in the loop with them. So yeah, he's been so cool. That's a really good answer, honestly.
Yeah.
Do you have?
I don't actually know.
I mean, I
I don't really know. I feel like I usually have cool stuff that I can't even think now. Mm, I don't know. Sorry, I should have looked at this one before. Let's see.
I can't even think
I
of
actually can't
anything.
even think of anything.
What did I even? I feel like my classes have been kind of interesting. I haven't really read anything like super interesting in any of my class. Actually, like one thing cool, one girl in my like class, she like got hired through like an Empower thing. I thought that was kind of cool because she just got
Oh.
I'm a finance major, so it's kind of like less girls in it. So I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't know that that was even a thing. So just
Yeah.
that I guess was cool.
I learned, well, my professor in one of my classes, he's from India, and he was telling us how in India they do like all the engineering. So pretty much all the engineering classes that you take first, second, third year, they learn pretty well when they're in their junior and senior year of high school. So I thought that was pretty cool because then they come to school in America and stuff like that, and it's so easy for them, and it's just kind of interesting because I feel like that was just a little fun fact. It's cool how the different school systems are around
Yeah.
the world. But yeah, that was kind of not really any novel, anything super crazy, but I just thought it was cool.
But I do relate with your Deion Sanders. I feel like
Yeah.
he's been like all over my Instagram and all over
Well, he
everything.
gave all his players sunglasses and stuff. That was probably the
Yeah.
thing that caught my eye this week. Is he coming to
Oh,
ASU?
Actually,
Oh, wait,
I can
yeah.
think of something. Actually, I was watching as on TikTok, and you had the Drake concert's been happening all
Yeah.
over. He gave this guy in the stands who had a sign that said, "I sold my furniture to buy tickets for this concert." He gave him $50,000 for furniture. So that
Nice,
was pretty
nice.
sick.
That's
Drake
awesome.
is
That
so
is
cool.
cool.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Does Colorado play ASU this year in football?
Yeah, they play them. Actually, it's our alumni weekend that they're coming here, so they're playing them October, first week of October.
Very
Yeah.
excited to see Dion in the flesh. I don't know if you guys plan on going to that one or not.
I would love to. It happens to be the same weekend as the World Sixes Championships.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
so it does kind of suck that timing, but obviously we're super excited to go there. But apparently, like I think the coolest thing too about that, like the ticket prices have just been insane. I
Insane.
mean, we're lucky as students you get free tickets, but I heard that for that Colorado who are they playing? Nebraska? No, who are they playing? Nebraska? I don't know. The big game they had a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah.
cheapest ticket was like $360 or something like that. Like that's just crazy to me.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty nuts. I don't know if I would go that much for a
yeah,
game.
no,
I would much rather watch it at home, but
yeah,
for
that's
sure.
pretty cool to see like how he sort of because no one cared about Colorado
Yeah.
football until he came there,
No.
which I find pretty interesting. So
yeah, it's crazy how one person can make such a monumental difference.
So let's get back to some lacrosse questions now. Only one or two more. What should be done to help grow women's lacrosse from your perspective?
Yeah, actually one thing that came to mind with that question for me was this past summer we had the opportunity to go play at Box Nationals, which was in San Jose, and it was us. There's a couple other women's teams in the division. But just I think it would be so cool for girls down here to be able to be exposed to the box game. And I think it's definitely growing, but just continuing for box lacrosse to grow. Obviously it's growing international. There were some girls there from England. And just obviously with the introduction of it going into the worlds, having a women's division for the box lacrosse world championships coming up next, or this coming up year, is super exciting. So I think just exposing people to that side of lacrosse too, because obviously it's a completely different game. But it's just so fun, and I think it really adds to the level of lacrosse, and to see lacrosse to continue to grow. Obviously, it is a constantly growing sport, and I think it will keep going like this, like growing wise. But if we could get more girls playing box lacrosse, that would be super cool and super good for the growth of the game, I think.
Yeah, I think box lacrosse is so entertaining to watch, so entertaining to play. So that would be awesome if more people here could could play it. I think also just like in general, media coverage for all female sports obviously is lacking in my opinion. So I feel like it's great like what you're doing and what a bunch of news outlets or pages on Instagram and are trying to do is great to try and get more exposure to the girls game, because I think honestly it's cool playing in Arizona because obviously West Coast lacrosse isn't as big as it is on the East Coast. So it's cool even just like being around campus wearing out lacrosse gear. People will come up to us and be like, I didn't even know we had a lacrosse team here. Like it's kind of just like getting lacrosse out to people, because I feel like once people watch it and once they play it, they really do fall in love with it. So just media coverage and getting people more exposed from an earlier age would definitely work wonders.
Now, one question I was just sort of curious about doing research on you guys is there's this one photo of you guys getting a ground ball, and there's like a player laying there. I think I just want to hear what the backstory on that. If like
Oh
there's
my
like
gosh,
if someone you like, I just want to know how that happened, honestly.
that is so funny.
There's
Yeah,
a few photos like
it happens more often than you think. But yeah, that picture's funny because it was from our freshman year, and obviously I think we brought a bit of a different style to the defense that was here at Sun Devil Lacrosse, just because obviously we're used to playing box. It's a lot more aggressive, a lot more physical. And being able to bring that into the field game is fun. But that picture specifically was just, I don't even know. I don't even, yeah, the Colorado one. I feel like it might have just been a little bit of a scrap. And then unfortunately, one girl didn't make it up, I guess. It's pretty funny though. My parents love that picture. I think they literally printed it and put it in our house, but it was just kind of a good shot, I guess. Yeah.
I feel like yeah, obviously since we're so used to the box style, we'll sometimes be a little too aggressive. Yeah, we just are very into the physical contact part of the game. So sometimes that happens and it looks funny on picture. I feel like I wouldn't say we're goons, but we definitely are like a little more aggressive.
I like it though. I wish there was more of that in lacrosse because, I just think it's fun to watch sometimes. I feel like they should let you guys go with that a little bit more,
Yeah,
Right.
try to bend the rules.
Yeah, we push it. So it's funny that they got that kind of
Oh yeah.
I have a couple pictures of me just like staring at girls on the ground and I'm like but yeah, it's pretty funny.
Gigi, were you the one that was in the scrap and shoved her down?
And then left. I don't even know.
I don't know which one was which.
Yeah, it could have been either way.
Yeah.
To be honest, I feel like there's been so many situations.
Or a double team.
similar.
I don't know.
Maybe a double
Might
team.
have been a
I don't
double.
even know.
I just thought that photo was funny, just her on the ground, you guys getting that ground ball. So I had to ask about it because I'm like, there's gotta be some funny story to it.
And
So
it's funny because they're like in the same stride.
Yeah.
And stuff. It just looks
We're, like,
like
in sync.
it looks like staged.
Yeah.
well, before we end this interview, do you guys have any shout outs you want to give to your former teammates, current teammates, family members, and friends? And who should we have on the podcast next?
Yeah, I mean, always shout out my parents. They've sacrificed so much for us to be here, and they support us every step of the way. My brother always, the three of them have just been so instrumental in our whole lives and lacrosse careers and everything, giving us the opportunity to come here. Our coaches, I feel like for sure, just day in, day out, just putting the time into us. And then of course our team, for me at least, they're just always so supportive and so fun to be around all the time, and they make lacrosse super fun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously so much thanks to our parents and our brother. Like they've been our biggest supporters throughout our whole process. And then yeah, our coaches here, shout out to them. And honestly, even all of our coaches that we had, whether it was in lacrosse or in basketball, we had some really instrumental coaches and other sports we played as well. But like growing up, all the people that kind of took a chance on us, like, because we were just kind of like athletic kids. We were never really lacrosse players. So, and everybody who's like taking a chance on us and kind of believed in us, bringing us up to where we are now. It'd be hard to like name everyone, I feel, but pretty much everyone who's like coached us in the past, and our teammates are always super supportive as well. So really grateful to have all of them.
Anyone on the team we should interview next?
Ooh, I mean, there's a ton of personalities on the team. I feel like you could honestly pick anyone that would be a good podcast, but top of the mind, feel like
Valley.
Yeah, Katie Valley's good. She's good personality, knows a lot about the game.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of people on our team.
Yeah, there's a ton. I mean, Barrett Brookfield's a good one because she started playing a lot later. She only started playing the junior year of her high school. She's cool. Who else on our team is there? Like, I mean, again, there's so many. Mina Scott, Rosie Davis, they're both hilarious. Great personalities. Everyone's got great personalities, so it's kind of hard to hand. I feel like you could go down a whole roster and be like, yeah, they'd be a great interview. I know you've already done Lexi. She's awesome.
It might be cool. Like Katie Haley, she came from Colorado. Like it'd be cool to like see.
Oh, and there's Katie Haley and Annie Haley. They're both like sisters on the team. So
they're cool
to have a couple sets of sisters on our team. So there's a ton, honestly.
But you could honestly like pick from a hat and pick anyone from our team. It'd be like a good interview, I feel.
Well, definitely reach out and see what happens because I definitely enjoy talking to you guys. So but thank you so much, Bella and Gigi, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your time. It means a lot to myself. I really enjoyed our conversation today, and I think you guys are great people and great players as well. So I just want to let you know that, and best of luck this upcoming season and with the national team stuff as well.
Thank you so much. We had a blast. Obviously, super fortunate for this opportunity. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us. That was awesome.